is reporting that during a massive blizzard in New York City, union workers for the city intentionally delayed cleanup work in a protest against budget cuts. With more, let's bring in Vincent Vernuccio with the Competitive Enterprise Institute. He's in Washington. All right, Vinny, tell us, what do you think about this story? Before you start, one of the big observations here is that when you hear about it, no one's surprised.
No, not at all. And by the way, I'm glad to see you all made it into work safe and sound today. I hear the roads are pretty treacherous up there. That's right. Now, first, you have to look at Mayor Bloomberg. The guy seems like he's more concerned about spending money on commercials and banning salt than he does about essential services like sanitation. This entire thing with the union arose because Bloomberg cut the sanitation workforce by 400 workers. Now, once again, this is... I'm sorry. Go on.
No, I'm just saying, but... the amount of workers, though, still assigned to the actual physical cleanup, that number didn't change year over year.
Right. Now, there are reports that they didn't have the adequate number of workers on Saturday to prepare for the snow, but that's another story.
But what about the idea, Vinny, that these guys are even the people who were there? I mean, there's pictures in the Post today, guys inside the trucks knocked out, sleeping, relaxing. And I'm sure we're going to get more things to come. There's got to be tweets and text messages. But what about the idea that the union would deliberately let the city be paralyzed?
Right. That's the reports in the Post right now. And, the reports are that, first, they're slowing down. They're going over the same road several times because they're having their plow blade too high. And I tell you, it's not just transportation. It's not just the economy, people getting to work. It's emergency services, too. We've all heard about the ambulances and the fire trucks that can't get to needed emergencies. There was one report of a woman whose baby died because they had to wait 8 hours for an ambulance to get there. And I tell you, I want to stress if, because this is so horrendous, I want to give the union at least the benefit of the doubt. But if this is part of a slowdown strike, the blood is on their hands. And there needs to be an investigation immediately into what happened.
All righty. Now, let's switch gears a little bit because yesterday and today we're also talking about another crazy story, this one out of California, with volunteers being turned back. We're talking volunteers at schools and libraries because of the unions out there.
That's right. This is at a junior high school just north of San Francisco out in California. Because of budget cuts and obvious funding problems that they're having in that state, they had to cut some school employees. And this wasn't just teachers. This was custodial, clerical workers and the like. And because of that, the community and the parents stepped up and started volunteering. They were doing lunch duty. They were doing clerical work. They were answering phones. The union caught wind of this and said, you can't do this. These are jobs that we need to be paid for. The superintendent threw up his hands and said, listen, it's not policy, it's the law. But these are volunteers trying to help out. Remember, this is what President Obama was saying. We need to give back. We need more service to our community. The unions simply aren't letting it happen.
Now, and by the way, from what I understand, this is not just that. This is a prime example of that, but this is prevalent throughout the entire state of California.
Oh, yeah, and I tell you, it's not just in California. In New Jersey last year, the SEIU went after a Boy Scout troop because one of the Boy Scouts for their Eagle project started clearing a trail through the park, and the SEIU said, sorry, you can't do that. We have to be paid to clear it. So they're even taking on the Boy Scouts. Now, luckily, that was only a local SEIU chapter. When the national got wind of it, they realized that, hey, taking on the Boy Scouts may not be the best PR move in the world, and they told the local to back off. But I tell you, Charles, there's a common theme through all these stories. It's government unions being able to cripple, through their monopoly, cripple communities. And something has to be done.
You're absolutely right, man. Something has to be done. At least we do know that there's a line to be drawn, and it starts with the Boy Scouts. So maybe we can build from there.
That's right.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Vinny. Have a great New Year, man.
Sure. Thanks a lot. You too, Charles.